Deni Shuang Janju Semba Namji, Ngar Janju Sem Maji Yel Yanyam Kanistan Lamna, and Chiki Rang Chibu Kovale Troas Minchi Midu, Shen Semja Tamje Rangi Tinchebo, Gejin Chimbo Semja Tamje, and Dewa Debada Dungamito Chikwa Chisa Semja Tamje, some Madajo Suzuchibu Kovale Dredget. Tarbi Dewa Toba Ningminu Samjan, Samjan Tamje, Dunda Sanyokoba Toba Chiutu Samjan, or Anika Sore, Simjan Tamje, Danyum Jambada, and Marshe, Kasa Rangi, Pama Jinova, Marshe Jambad, and Jinje, Jinso, Yuan Jamba, and Niji Shimba Lasan Namda, Sene, Nekumje, and Jajus to Sim Geje, Dusje Janje, and Jajus to Sim Giveres. And今年大些年前让几十年，让几百准备忘记，那让电话对些，对吧？第一段那两个礼拜天呢，甚至他们去车上考虑动啊，给做这个是让几十三百的路途，其实地帮我都得了。麻烦他们弄些的，那现在把这边什么的，那那个当态度当上一个嘛，加上第一加上现在把这边什么的那个都是，加上的让其实三百三的早给你记住没些的，那这类三百几些，那现在把这边什么的讲，那是地头呢讲就说的什么的，那大些让给电话。电话当给予就给我就是现在当现在东啊就是说处理很大些年纪都是呢那讲多节真是把那么讲起来吧的这是俺最那样那电话对吧可甚至他们这个都能上去过吧托过因子真是什么的所有都讲多那把拿心讲俺最呢那告诉军队们也对有个呢讲究什么就落家呀当那大些年这个落家呀的了呀那样呢呀都别是结果的也是我的是学给他我这的写着
This morning we continue to look at how all the great Bodhisattvas have trained. So when they were ordinary beings like ourselves, they concentrated on cultivating the mind of definite emergence, which comes about in dependence on a number of meditations, in particular that of meditating on the sufferings of samsara. And they would meditate on the pervasiveness of sufferings of cyclic existence, giving rise to the mind of definite emergence. This powerful commitment to strive wholeheartedly to achieve liberation from suffering, freedom from suffering. But then, having as an aspiration to become bodhisattvas, they didn't leave their motivation as being one of one's solely of one's own benefit. Rather, they then concentrated on looking at the fault of doing exactly that, by considering how inappropriate it would be now that they have understood the truth of suffering as well as its origins and cessations and paths. Having understood this and seeing that the path to liberation is attainable, how inappropriate it would be to strive solely for their own benefit and leave behind unattended all those lost in the realms of suffering. Then, having generated concern for others in this way, they continue with the cultivation that will lead to the generation of bodhicitta itself, first reflecting on impartiality, overcoming this sense of closeness to some, distance to others. And included in this, they would reflect on their intimate and close relationships that all beings share. Reflecting on that in this life they've had parents who have raised them with care and kindness, and this is a relationship they would have had with other beings in each and every preceding life. Therefore, they have this relationship with all beings. And likewise, beings in this life, many have shown us kindness directly, but far more have also shown us kindness indirectly. And this is the case in each and every previous life too. And in this way, the aspirant bodhisattva trains reflecting on the intimate relationships and beginningless times that beings share, this web of connections. Within this, then, they progress to a second meditation, that of the kindness that others have shown us, so that this relationship, we focus on the kindness of this interconnection of relationships. And independence on this vivid recognition comes about the wish to repay the kindness. And based on this, then, love and compassion are generated, as we heard earlier, generated in the way that was described, coming to the point where individual responsibility is taken by the aspirant bodhisattva. Responsibility for the welfare of others, taken onto oneself. And here, in order to actualize that responsibility, they generate bodhicitta, recognizing that as a Buddha, they'll be of greatest benefit to others. As a Buddha, they will be able to fulfill that commitment they have just made quickest. And in this way, bodhicitta is generated. And then we also spoke this morning about the second method, that of equalizing and exchanging self with others, with 6 cause and 1 effects being one method. And in this method here, in particular, one looks at the faults of the self-cherishing mind, this obsession we have with our own happiness, this obsession we have to achieve our happiness first and foremost, and if others get harmed, that's too bad. If others get benefited along their way, that's fine, but not at the expense of our happiness. And here, the aspirant bodhisattva reflects in great detail the faults of the self-cherishing mind. Then this is accompanied by the meditation on what is it like for those beings who have transcended this this common way of thinking, those extraordinary beings, the Buddhas. And here we saw that Buddhas are born from the other cherishing mind, the attitude that is completely the opposite to the self-cherishing mind. And here we reflect on the many good qualities of the other cherishing mind. So in the second training, in the 11th training, here one reflects primarily on the faults of the self-cherishing mind and then the benefits of the other cherishing mind, leading to the strong commitment to guard our minds with mindfulness and introspection, and have these as our ever-present companions, ensuring that we don't come under the influence of the self-cherishing mind, but rather always act for the welfare of others first and foremost. So this is how all the bodhisattvas have trained. And we as aspirants to the bodhisattva path, we should train in the same way as they did, and in that way we can be certain of achieving that result. So now we'll continue with the trainings of bodhisattvas that are relating to taking adverse circumstances and transforming them into the paths of bodhisattvas.
Suda Duchi Wangi Dagi Nor Tamji Chokam Chodo Junaya Ludan Wanju Dusum Gewanam Delam Weba Geshe Lalins.
The 12th practice. Should my wealth be stolen or caused to be stolen by someone gripped by overwhelming attachment, dedicating to them my body, possessions, and virtue of the 3 times is the practice of bodhisattvas.
Suda Duchi Wangi Dagi Nor Chokam Chodo Juna Tamji Chokam Chodo Juna Yansiwara. Chizang Dangazo Jidina and Dinishungurwa Sosugi, Benjo Sosugi Gale Japu, Chipenjo Sayadu, and Delia Mishandagi and the Chiki, Kumaku Troyada, Jomiada, and Sosugi Zewan Daji, Chotroya, and the Chingurwa Chiza, Suda Duchin Wangi Dagi Nor City Suda City Mi, the Nigi, Kobe the Deva Chimbu, Bene, that's Jala Dengal go to some Delia Deva Di Wangi, and Sosulia and Tubze Da Sosu Wanya Daja, Sosu Nor, Jaladi Pa Choru Res, and the Sosugi Denigi Mingo Suramotona, Michi, to Gumachi, and Kuran Dijala, the Tron, Keshos, and Denigi, Troya, and Gumaku, Jinigi, Jejubaina, and then Tanga Denising Hanzoli, Ganga Yungores, Cezan, Dene Ganga Yondu Kabla, Nyama Jajusemba de Yegi, Janjo Sem Yamlin JB Kabla, and Denigi, Denigi Tuba, Gumada, Denigi Jala Trova, the Denichebaina, and Garchevares, and Dust. Nyamlin Jetadi, and Sumore, Da, Suda, Duchin, Wanga, Daguner, Tamjir Chom, Chodo Juna, Yang Seje.
This 12th practice deals with how a bodhisattva would deal with a situation where if something that they had put great energy into accumulating. So here we see as an illustration, should wealth be stolen or caused to be stolen by someone grip of overwhelming attachment. So how would a bodhisattva deal with such a situation? So here we relate to it from our own experiences. We think of what we valued, and these are often things that we have acquired through great effort, great energy, great commitment over a protracted period of time. So it's these things that we value so. If someone overwhelmed by attachment were to steal it from us, either directly or indirectly causing someone else to take it, how would we deal with it? But most importantly here, let's understand how a bodhisattva would deal with this.
Denigi Trova, Shenli, Trodo Juba, and Dimai Bayaji Kishi Nibu Shinja, Gohardane, Kedoyada, and Zigo, Hamo, Kumo Kuni Kedwa, Diningura, Dinio de Gablan, Aranzo in the Garjosna, Danji, Kumakusha, Midi, Troson, Alakale, Jason, said, Yadel Midi Peduja, there's a corner, Shulaya, Chik, Manazuki, Bear Korolan, and the Pajik. Semreche and Chikirua. That Janju Sempe Yamin Jidu Kabla, and then Digalea, Karsam Dang, Kanisam Dangorasan, Delia Kondolango Mares, Cesa Delia and Disabla Karakas, Delia and Ninji, Sempigi, Delia Konzu, Troyada, Dinigia, Konzo, and the Konzul, Konzul Dele, Devachumare, Cesa Delegate Devache, Chawi Wongi, Delia Troyada, Kumaja, and Tichumare, Cesa Chawaja, Digit. Zangpo Sheba Deji Shuwe Sheba Naja Rang Jeba Zemba Rang Dewa Due, Chizan Rangi Dewa Due Biki, Dewa Due, Chizan Dewa Due Banza, Dewa Tubialia, Tunji, Benjo Guinza, Di and Sosumedi, Shandazal Troya, Samba, Yejina Troya, Jomiaki, Nukumakuya, Dine Samba, the Trosovare, Chizan Mikora Rawa Yomare, Ninji Samje, Ninji Gigo Regele.
If someone were to steal or cheat us out of or deceive us and thereby trick us and take something from us that we value greatly, well, we probably would be like most people. We'd get angry about this. Our mind would be dominated by this, deeply disturbed by it. We'd tell everyone about what happened to us. We may even lose sleep over it. We'd certainly be greatly upset at having lost something that we value. A bodhisattva is quite unlike that. A bodhisattva has transformed such ordinary ways of responding. Bodhisattva doesn't suffer in that ordinary, it doesn't suffer like this. Rather than the anger that naturally or spontaneously arises within us, for a bodhisattva, it's compassion that would spontaneously arise. Compassion for this afflicted being, compassion for this being that is deluded by their self-cherishing mind in particular, and it's due to their obsession to achieve their own happiness that has led them to take something that is not theirs, to deprive someone of something of value. This strong selfish attitude that has dominated someone to engage in an act that harms others, with no understanding or concern about the suffering results that will come to them. So understanding this, for a bodhisattva, having understood this through long meditation, for meditation of a lengthy period, for a bodhisattva, it's compassion that spontaneously will arise for this suffering being, this being that's suffering under the control of their self-cherishing mind. And for the self-cherishing mind, then in order to fulfill its own wishes, it gives rise to overwhelming attachment. And therefore, understanding this, compassion spontaneously arises within the Bodhisattva.
Ji choya dan, jala choya dan, zangwa dan, choya dan, kuma kuya dan, gowa dan ji kia de, dini samdwa de, an de liya kontro mlaya, kontro lang, nyomo jie ge tsabla, an de liya sueba kumya, suebi nyamlin ligorwa, jisa an suebi nyamlin masya, an de liya an jamba de nyingche senpi ge samda, nyingche kigorwa, an di masya, da dini ki jala choa chibi korang, ngi yu jala kuya choa chibi korang, da choa ni kia dorwa da, dini kia wadi korang la ya, bechu chimbo, pando chimbo, an dele dini korang ki lu dewa, sem jibu, an chik dini ki yongwa shuwa, sempi ki, an molam ki go re jire.
For a Bodhisattva then, mental anguish would not arise in a situation like this, but possessing genuine love for others, for all others, without exception, compassion will readily arise for this being. And understanding that this being is controlled by their self-cherishing mind and their attachment, desires so strongly this particular object that they have stolen it or they have deceived oneself, the Bodhisattva will think, if having this object will bring you some happiness, no matter how fleeting, it's yours. You can have it because I value your happiness far more than this object. You have it. This is how a Bodhisattva would respond.
Tamje chogam chodo chuna yang sido dan denigi molam jawa mase an jamba da ningchi ke da an denigi molam jawa mase an di galia an denu garasi ko sine lui da long ju jusum gewa nams dela mo ba ke se la yin sido chida denigi janjusem ba de ki sosu gu lui da long ju ga ri yue ne an gewa nga man sa be ge gewa ge zawa da de sa be ge ge zawa mo ba na ge sa ba ju be ge zawa di da tam yang anja denigi semchen dadi sosugi chala chotuan denigi semchen dedan chwenbige da semchen tamjeria ane jingi lu loju gewa chasang konzole minje ane konzole digi lu dewa sem kibo yongwa da ane dije dele dene ane koran zuge sama Zangpo ane jane pando zhutugen denigi ane jige ge lama gewe xinyan te delia ane chu shu je chu yamlen je tarbada tamje kimbo gogon tobi gyuru wa sho saada ane chasang liya ngi dini lu long ju gezi dusum ye geza sabi gewa tamje ta koron zola dangi samjen on dus jene sam dango res chizan dini sam dini taade ni jenju semba namgi ane chale dus nango re jere.
Furthermore, for it's most remarkable of being the Bodhisattva, having love and compassion spontaneously arise within them for this thief, they would then, furthermore, as we see here, they'd make prayer, dedicating their virtue to this being. They would dedicate the virtue that they have accumulated independent on this person's activity, this person's stealing or deception. They would dedicate the virtue that the Bodhisattva here has created by love and compassion arising, as well as all the virtue they've created since beginning of time and will still create. They offer this to this being. They offer them their body, their lives, all their energy and capacity they offer to this being. All their resources, whatever they have, may these be only utilized for others. Others can have them. May I utilize them only in the most beneficial of ways. And in particular, the offering of the roots of virtue that the Bodhisattva has striven so long and so hard to acquire. They offer it to this being with a sincere wish, through offering these causes of happiness. May they ripen on the being's continuum. May this being be overwhelmed by this ripening of virtue so that they become kind-hearted, that they develop an interest in the Buddha Dharma and come under the care of a Mahayana spiritual teacher. and skillfully guided, and they quickly abandon all the causes that keep them in samsara and achieve liberation from suffering and continue their progression and become Buddhas too. So this is how a bodhisattva responds.
그제 강아지 소수기 잘라줘 소수기 되니기 깽안바 중어르제 이나야 디 깽안바 텔레기 오늘 신나 깽안바 텔레데 셈체지야다 두마요다 안지 강아 최고데 이네 마차바지 디 찹려야 안네 델야 안지게 쇠버콤야다 안디 제 소수기 그 잘라디 코 초과의 콜로 판도하고 용화 쇼샤다 소수기 류롱제 계자차상 안 대당 준비 심지 탐제를 편바치 동근세대 진비냐면 지르고로 봐 지산 나 진비냐면 자르고래 안 될야 안 지금 콩로나야게 잡려야 안 지 콩로 말아와 지 쇠복음 두고도 쇠비냐면 최고래 안 지산 규제라디게다 배사송 초송 상에디 쇼송 스메 세나 메바체 데라 ngoache 차상 동심 동외심 바당한 진비냐면 근데 제 안 세나게의 송화 세나 마게바체 세나 송화로 봐 세나게와 까반자 안 될래 추림냐면 리고로 봐 지금 추림냐면 진비냐면 리고 동화 바 ngoache 진비냐면 안 세나 송화자 추림이냐면 안 될래 콩로 게게 잡래 콩로 마게 쇠제 쇠복음 투와자 쇠비냐면 최고래 안 되니기 즉 가신 셈냐 되니기 빼하고 중소하면 가신 구이병원에 콜량 오와게 되니기 잠니지 깨와 깨도 아니 전주기냐면 최고로 제자들이 인자 될야 루스냐면 제자 되니 자주세만 남기 깽엔 되니 중요도 갑라 안 될야 강아체게 잡라 아니 개와 랍친 아니 즉 되니 수사고레스 되니 자야도 아니 현달에게 기운으로 라인에 하는 디기 용거로 지나하시니까 디기 세대라이나래 한 디기 데보 한다 사이게 고바트비 규조야다 안도시네 안도스 차례는 거래 전주sem바는 비도스치네 라렌데 거래스 모르와다.
This practice is the first of several for transforming adverse circumstances into the path. What does it mean, transforming adverse circumstances in the path? Skilled bodhisattva, as we see here, responds to life's difficulties in a way that's quite outstanding, a way that's quite extraordinary in the world. So when you think of an adverse circumstance, of being cheated out of something that we value, or having something that we value stolen, everyone will agree this is unwanted and is a cause that leads to our suffering. No one wants this. But for a bodhisattva, they transform such an adverse circumstance into the paths of the Mahayana, into the mental paths of the Mahayana. So for us ordinary beings, such as circumstances, this and the others that will follow in the trainings, are adverse circumstances in that they lead to us suffering and problems arising for us. These are unwanted circumstances. For a bodhisattva, we can call them transforming problems into the path. But these are not problems for a bodhisattva. These are not adverse circumstances. These are the very opportunities that they require to rapidly strive for Buddhahood and be of benefit to others. And how so? How does having their wealth or their possessions stolen from them serve as causes for enlightenment and serve them to benefit others? As a skilled practitioner, they take these opportunities, these circumstances, and they transform them into the paths of the Mahayana, into the paths of a bodhisattva, meaning love, compassion, and the wish for enlightenment spontaneously arise within them, and that's how they're transformed into the paths of the Mahayana. And huge stores of virtue are created, and this is how they become causes for enlightenment. Of course, the generation of love and compassion for the suffering being causes huge stores of virtue. They wish to become a Buddha so as to be able to guide all sentient beings, including this suffering being, causes huge stores of virtue to arise. Moreover, through no miserliness arising for the object that was stolen, potential of the arisal of miserliness has been restrained. The mind of restraint that has restrained the rising of miserliness is ethical conduct. Ethical conduct is the mind of restraint. So therefore the Bodhisattva is practicing the perfection of ethical conduct, creating huge stores of virtue. Moreover, by offering to the suffering sentient being all their possessions, their body, all this roots of virtue, the causes of happiness, offering these to this suffering sentient being with sincerity, the Bodhisattva is practicing generosity, the perfection of generosity, and accumulating huge stores of virtue. Moreover, by their mind remaining subdued in the face of adversity, the Bodhisattva is also practicing the perfection of patience and creating further stores of virtue. So here, by encountering what generally in the world we'd say is an adverse circumstance, the Bodhisattva has skillfully transformed it into the causes for enlightenment, the causes for lasting, stable happiness, the causes for happiness for all beings. And how so? Through their spiritual development, based on this circumstance and their skillful response to it. They're creating causes for their own happiness, and they're developing their own ability to be ever more skillful in helping sentient beings, in guiding sentient beings, in particular guiding them towards attaining their own paths of enlightenment.
Lapcheti Karanangor Sene, Mahanzola Karanangor Sene, Cesa Gabrielia, Anzuki, Jala, Kumakuya, Tambi, Troya, and a Gohata, Chetroya, Denisi Ungris, Cesa Denio, Kabla, and Anzuine, and Jiki Delia, Conro Malamache, and a Corolana, so system you with Chayamato, and the Jala de Calacabo, Saveta, and Denisa, and the Cabo, Cesa, Soso Calacaro, Cesa Corolana, Yungre, Corolana, so the Diversigore, D, and Javachima. And also, you check what it is. That's a cormalache, Delia Servo to Bachores, and this Denimaze and Denegi, Semjen, Kokuma, Guendia, Korongi, Dewadunia, Dumba, Dewadunia, Diwangi, and to strawberry, Chesam Corona, Pembachin, Yabore, Pembachon, Show, something on the Delia Molam Japores. Chesam.
It is good. Come capne, den control pen of Medu, the Tamagoson, control pen of Medu, Dick Passak, Dead Sarne, Calisum.
There's a negative horse. Cesar Kuma, Troya, the Caracin, Trovares, and Coron, Dewa Dundunia, Corongi, Dewa, Noyag, Dundala, to Chevareje. Cesar Coron, Dijebanza, no Coronia, good me, Muzalat, Guiche, Corona Rawatiki, and the Beju Chimbo, the Pado Chimbo, the Or Shores and Biggie, and some of the diary. Design the names, Corongi, Dangi, the Jala Trova, the Corolia, and Jiggy, Yomo, Wangi, Della Chabi, Ongi, to Chever, the Ninja, Tacola Miller, Raoyo Maresa, or Delia Ninja Comiata. And the numbers here, and also to get Janjusanamki, and watch about Nashin, the New Indian, and Chiki. Gewa Kiwi Zawada, and Lonju Karine, and the Dedan Chimpi, Simjantam, Jelia, Dangin, and Simjatamji Diki, and Diki Jutoba Duma Seata, and the Diki Tuba Show said, on those in the Molam Jawores, Sankisi Kanga Jumba in the Dinesamdana, and Sosolia, and Kawasago Regile, and Dimasaki Majumba in Yellen and Anzuki, Diki Jumba in meeting the Chigina, Sambiki, and some Yana and the Tangures, Chesan Jamdor Chatures, Chesan Denigi Juba and the Denigi Lamsa, some Tatu Gures, all those in the Yamnache Gores, then Anzuki 60 digging around the Lapchiliadi to some Tangore, Chesan Denigi Trova, the Muko Tawa, Kumaku, the Chuban, Delia Moa Tagia, Nedelia Konlangimea, the Nichuma and Ninjas, Niju Komgin, subject Denigi Samta. Geshe Denigi Trova, the Kumago Juma in there, and could do the Lia Denisam Damborege.
When hearing about how bodhisattvas practice in these circumstances, how should we then relate to such advice? Because we know this text was composed for our benefit, for us to become bodhisattvas. So when we encounter such circumstances, and certainly one does, we have things sometimes stolen from us, or people deceive us, take advantage of us, cheat us out of our possessions, then it's imperative we do not get angry. What comes from getting angry? Well, immediately we become unhappy. Our peace of mind, any joy we were experiencing is immediately lost and will remain lost. Our bad mood, our unhappiness will continue. And of course, the suffering doesn't only end there, it's not only short term. Through becoming angry, we create the causes for further suffering in the future when they ripen. And what benefit comes from anger? Well, the thief who has stolen something from us doesn't, wherever they are now, suddenly on dependence on us getting angry here, develop remorse over there and bring back our stolen property. That doesn't happen. No benefit comes from us getting angry. None whatsoever. All that follows is immediate and future suffering. So the first guidance here, the first advice here, is we should not allow anger to arise. Secondly, turn our mind towards the person who stole from us or deceived us. Why did they do this? Why did they do this? They did this because they wanted happiness. In brief, it's that. Their self-cherishing mind wanted happiness and believed by taking this possession, their happiness would be achieved. That's it. That's it. They were deceived by their self-cherishing mind. Their self-cherishing mind led to the rise of strong attachment, and under the influence of strong attachment, they stole. This person had no freedom of choice. Their self-cherishing mind and the resulting afflictions controlled the entire process. Understanding this, compassion will arise for this suffering being, knowing that they have no control. They are helpless under the influence of their self-cherishing mind. And as they're helpless, under the influence of the self-cherishing mind, they accumulate the causes that will lead to them continuing to suffer, continuing to remain trapped in the realms of suffering, the realms of samsara. Compassion arising for them. We think, may they be freed of suffering. Moreover, may they experience only lasting happiness, and in fact, may I do all that I can for them, so that they achieve temporary happiness. If they wanted this, they can have it. They've got it now anyway, they can have it. But moreover, we created some connection there through this, they're stealing from me and my reflection on this. Through this connection, as well as through the virtue I'm accumulating, may I guide them to achieve a state of ultimate, lasting happiness. May all the temporary happiness that they desire, may they fulfill this, but in accordance with the Dharma. May the true innermost desire for lasting, stable happiness, may I help them achieve this, may I guide them to achieve this. So this is a skillful way to respond, and this is how we can respond. The reality is right now, we can't respond in this way, certainly not spontaneously. But if we take inspiration from this text and we train in the ways that are presented here, we can become skilled like this. And if we train in these practices here repeatedly over a sustained period, then too we'll be able to take all of life's adverse circumstances and readily transform them into the path. Right now, we can't do this because we are not habituated to it. But that is all that's lacking, habituation. Through cultivating habituation, we too can become skilled in these practices.
So I
want to share a quotation from Shantideva's Bodhisattva way of life. Shouldn't one engage for the sake of protecting those who have fallen into the lower realms? One shouldn't be bound by the personal gain and respect of striving for one's own liberation. So I'll read it again. Shouldn't one engage for the sake of protecting those who have fallen into the lower realms? One shouldn't be bound by the personal gain and esteem of striving for one's own liberation.
Dandala Karasungora Sene Deda Dani Nasondu Sidu Karasungora Sene Chizangai Guda Nola Chapiki Chapa and Gunur Pa Shalia Dongma to be Sena Chedi and Digarjosen Digi Digbares Chizan Digi Mama Nasolia give you Gujigores Chizan Ni Gula Sena Gula Chapaki. And Gudi Pa Shanlia Dama to be Sena Chigadu, Di Nyomba Di Wangina, Nanson the Giachicore, Chisa Deda, Dani, Nanson do Tungwa Sidu. She's an also Giachicores. She's a Dinenza, Dinigo Kuma Digi, Ni Gudi Jala, Gudi Nord, the Part Trodu, my Gudilia Chapi, Chapa Mel Sons. Gudi Shanla Doma to be Sena, the Sena Mel Sons. She's an Agula, Nanson the Gay, Gudiacha. Gula Chapel Chabada, you send a Jala Tomo to Sena Digi, Meva Susos. Chisanga Nason Gumadigi, Metro Gumadi, Nason, my yellow Sunson, who gas on Sun Jurchesons. See what Tunga, Sun Chir, Shuminam. Chesan, Sun Chesan, Deniza, Denigo Gumakode, Payabures, Kawgum, Yabures, down in he, Malaya, Chick Night. Nyomoje the Meva so Malia getting Chimbo, just on Nason like Yale, Gas, Pay Abu Chesons. Della Jesu Irachi and Delia and the getting Jingo, Pema say Abu Chos, getting Temper, on Ducin, Jingo, Regit, Jesusaman, Yamen, the Nigger Trot and Delia, and Ducins, Gombatination and Yamen and Gores.
The Tsikan Temple and Nipa. Let's look at the first two lines of this verse. Shouldn't one engage for the sake of protecting those who have fallen into the lower realms? So here, one reflects on the faults of the afflictions, understanding that attachment for possessions is non-virtuous, because attachment is non-virtuous. It's a cause to be born in the lower realms. When we act under the influence of attachment, then, as in this case, someone has stolen from us. As well as my potential response would be one of miserliness due to my attachment for this object. And that would be non-virtuous and creating a cause for me to fall into the lower realms. Because non-virtue, when it propels a rebirth, does so only to the lower realms. So understanding this, we're reminded of the grave danger of the afflictions. The afflictions within the continuum of the other person, the afflictions that I have yet to eliminate. And now we suddenly think, because of this person's activities, I've been reminded of the importance of eliminating all my afflictions completely, my attachment to my miserliness, because of the grave danger that they present. Until they are eradicated, there's this constant danger that I may fall into the suffering lower realms myself. So rather, I have to eliminate them now so that I can protect those who are in danger of falling into the lower realms themselves. So actually, such circumstances, adverse circumstances, where someone has stolen from me, such a circumstance has presented me a great opportunity, an opportunity to identify my afflictions and eliminate them. And therefore, I can rejoice in having attained this opportunity and transformed it into the path.
Zhuo Simjian Tamji Yu Duanda La Sangye Kupang Toba Dugo, Chizan, Zhuo Dunya, Zhuo Simjian Tamjelia, Semjen Tamju Dungana, Dana, Semjen Dewada, Dena Samje, Duhole, Digi Chuhegi, Donyer Chene, Dingaranga, Dinyam Chigor was, Yamna Chigores, China Dinisa, Niedan Kurdi, said Niebala Chape Chapa, Kurdila Chape Chapa, and the Dag Longula Chape Chapata, and the Longu Shala Tangma, Sena Digi, Disugi, and the Karchiwas and Koala Matabachi, Koala Kore Gures, Mato Koala Tartugo, Chizan Rada, Shen Chazan Koala Kore Gures, Dinigi, Chizan Digi, Koala Kogo, Mana Koala Targo, Draw Semjan Tamjo, Koi Dumala, Draja, Sanjo Salakuku, Diniza, Dinigo Koa, Chinji, Denigi, and Senata, Chapati. Guayo Maris, or Yedan Kuri Chimus, Ningalia, Dinokoa, Chinjigi, and the Niebala Chaba, Gudila Chaba, Longula Chaba, Longo Tomo, Sena, the sort of Guhemidos, Chesan, the Nigo Kumagi, the Nigo Torch, Kevat, Bear, what you hear, Deliangi, Sena Giada, and the Chim, and the Chapa Giadi, Meva said, and the Indishas ordered that.
The second two lines of this verse, one shouldn't be bound by the personal gain and esteem of striving for one's own liberation. So here, as an aspirant to the Bodhisattva paths, we're reminded that due to our commitment to become a Bodhisattva and a Buddha for the sake of all suffering beings, what I should value is helping others. What I should value is bringing benefits into the lives of those who are suffering. What I should value is easing the burden of suffering and misery that weigh others down so. And immediately when we think like this, then our own personal gain, our possessions or things that we may receive from others are not seen as important. The respect others have for us, the esteem they hold us in, this is not seen as important. Moreover, recognizing that our personal gain can lead to attachment and miserliness arising, causes for further suffering, causes that will hinder our spiritual development. The esteem others hold us in, the respect they have for us, these are causes that can lead to the arisal of pride. Pride, being an afflicted mind, also serves as a severe impediment to our cultivation, our spiritual progression, our cultivation of the paths of a bodhisattva. And these afflicted minds, such as attachment and miserliness and pride, these are, being afflictions, are the chains that keep us bound within the prison of samsara. These are our danger. This is what causes us pain. This is what prevents us from being of true benefit to others, not whether something is taken from us. So thinking like this then, our perspective then is turned back to the Mahayana Dharma, turned away from our own self-concern. And then when we think about this thief, suddenly we realize what great kindness they've inadvertently shown us in that. Through their activity, they have helped us identify our afflictions. Moreover, they have helped us, given us the opportunity to weaken our afflictions. And now we actually rejoice in the situation and appreciate the kindness of this person's activities. This is how a skilled practitioner responds to life's difficulties.
Lamkes Tahoki, Sosuki, never Guinea, never Chilia, and Shengi, Susulia, Nidon Tayata, Ganga Teata, Denigi, and never get in the two Sovana, and the Samlakan Stangore, Change somebody, Samlakan Stangores, and the Gormashia.
We'll come now to the next practice of bodhisattvas, and this is how to transform enemies into the path. So what is meant by enemies? So these are those who harm us or who hinder our wishes, or harm those that we are close to, or hinder the achievement of their wishes. So these are who we refer to as enemies. Here this practice is about transforming these circumstances into the paths of the Mahayana Dharma.
sikde dala nyeba junze me shindu ganda dagi go chechena nije wonge di diwanam dala lemba jese lali seshisu.
Though not having caused them the slightest harm, should someone try to even decapitate me, out of compassion, taking onto myself all their non-virtue, is the practice of bodhisattvas.
Nyeva mena yang ane susuki kye nyeva tiche sonsi ane gabriel ne ane pasho ki nisu yabu mashin wachi kiyen che ne koran suki kwe tiche sarasa kuma moguwe ne di kuma kuyo sara mima sewa na digi mi suyo sara samche doga sache ane susuki sewa che che delia ganga deya da nidung tanya da ane di che diya yungurwa ane di membi ki kashi ne da deni ki 하모 지녀바 마제바 하고 있나야 강주네 안 데라 마가와체 콜야 강아제고 섬제 셈바 지마다 바지나 누시네 강아제 응고로와 디네 자다 지고라 디나지 세고다 달라 녀바 주제 메신도 다 강아다 다기고 제나야 세고라 지상 수수게 녀바 기네 메바지래 샤나기 소솔야 베케지 nyeba dijesha sa de sosolya nyedong taya da zhengana luya da ganga mo che da an tame tamalya an ji sosu ke da sokso dangis na go pa jie jie lu xian de jeba ina ya an denige yong ma si ba ma de yong gu res de dene yong wi kapla an yong si de dene yong kala da dene yong ba na samna kan stang khu re sa shi go da.
These adverse circumstances that are presented here, and together with their techniques to transform them into the paths of the Mahayana, are circumstances that we have experience of and hence are very useful. So we look here at the first two lines, though not having caused them the slightest harm, should someone try to even decapitate me. So whilst hopefully no one has been threatened with such an adverse circumstance where someone is trying to decapitate one. Nevertheless, we probably all have been falsely accused of something. We've all probably been blamed for something that we haven't done. Likewise, there would have been times when others will have doubted one's intention. One may have had a good intention, but others had some doubt about that. So how to respond with this? Getting frustrated, getting annoyed? This is certainly not the way that bodhisattvas deal with these circumstances. So we need to learn about these so we can deal with them skillfully.
Dini jundu kabla an jeju semanamji ane samlo kanistan gore labna dele ya ane khoroma laegi sabla an khoroma lawa je sebokom. Denigi ane sebokom je niji gi gore che chesa niji wangi dagi tiba di tiba nam sidu niji gi ninde dangone ran khoron so nyomo ba gyecha khonro di xiangmo de suanje ma ya du chi gore ningje dangone ran ningje je khoron ne jigyo mo ba je ngale ya kanga je du chi de khoron di bo pa to me ba sai gore chesa de denigi di ba sa je di ba di jewa chi ma nga so je je nga so ya du nga pa to me ba nyong go cha gore la je da ningje a sen be gi ningje shu ki gore je delya denigi so so ya ni dong da ya da ji sui ya so so da ya gang zhe du delya khong ro la ya ge chap la an sui bo kong an delya mi ge wa chi chap la ya an delya jang ba de ning ji gong go res.
Whilst in the world, ordinary people will respond to such a circumstance in a variety of ways, most of which are probably going to be afflicted. Bodhisattva, on the other hand, will not give rise to affliction at all, even if it's something, a situation as severe as if they are threatened with decapitation. Anger or any other afflicted mind will not arise. Rather, due to the skill that has come with all their training, their mind will stay unsubdued in the face of adversity. And the illustration here certainly is a grave adversity. With their minds staying subdued, then virtue can easily arise, virtuous minds, and in particular compassion as well as love for this being before them. Because the Bodhisattva, through the skill that has come through all their training in this and all the preceding practices, will understand with vivid clarity that this being before them, who's falsely accusing them, who's threatening them with harm, who's blaming them for something they haven't done, this being has no control, because this being is under the control of their self-cherishing mind and all its resulting afflictions, such as anger. This being before them now is suffering. They're suffering because their mind is afflicted. And not only are they suffering in this very moment, but they are, because of the presence of the afflicted minds and acting under their influence, are creating the causes that will lead to further suffering, suffering in their future lives, suffering that may well ripen in rebirth in the lower realms. And this Bodhisattva, having meditated well on the sufferings of the lower realms, will not wish anyone to have to suffer in that way. And therefore, compassion readily arises within them due to the mental space that their training in patience provides. So this is how a Bodhisattva would respond in such an adverse circumstance.
Bendigo dan korongi konro la ngalia kangate ane chik dine chibi diba pato me ba sa che kewa chima ngaso ke dunga nyong pato me ba sa ya te ningje samje an delia an mo ba na ko dibi debu dunga di nyong mo wa she dibi debu di pa chaza ngala mimba sho sa da ane ngi nge zawa kara saba digi yong ya ke kewa kara sa di debu de kol ya mimba de digi de kong lo jungwa sho sa de no du sene da she 가서 냠제 어두서 동len제네 안 동len kum고레스 제가 코롱기 다데 코롱기 되니기 녀모부 온게 nga래야 깔라 당시비 디 대부 동안용아 찾아 nga래 민바 미 근데 네 기회서와 강사와디 디 대부 디기 콜 민바 쇼스네 내내지는 동len 두스kum고레스 저주세 만남게 데네 곰바에자 니지 온기 디 디바남 달라 렘바스 소수수리에 아니 소수기 기회자와 디기 주에 파 땅아지 데네기 냠내제 게세 라리 인세 게세 전주세 만남기 두스네 아니 라렌 두스 차례는 거를 곰데네 겹고레세
In addition to the generation of love and compassion based on patience for the suffering being before them, the Bodhisattva then will also, as we see in the rest of the line, take on to themselves all their non-virtue. And this is because their compassion has arisen in dependence on their understanding that this being is suffering before them, because they have no freedom, they have no control, they are controlled by their afflictions. And the rise and the dominance of the afflictions in their continuum, that alone creates non-virtue that will lead to rebirth in the lower realms. But then by now acting under the influence of their afflicted minds are creating even greater non-virtue. Therefore they're creating very powerful causes that, if they ripen in propelling karma, will lead them to the tremendous miseries that are experienced in the lower realms. Due to the power of the compassion and the love that has arisen within the Bodhisattva now, the aspiration arises, may they not experience this suffering. They are suffering enough right now. I don't want them to suffer anymore. If that suffering has to ripen, let it ripen on me. I'm skilled enough to deal with these. Even in this circumstances, I'm getting more skilled. I will take the suffering on. I can deal with it. I'd much rather harmful circumstances befell me than this, dear person. And to help them, to ensure that this being before me no longer acts in this way, through gaining freedom from their afflictions, I offer my virtue then. I give my virtue to them. I give the causes of happiness to them. And in this way, the skilled Bodhisattva takes on the suffering of others and gives their roots of virtue to them. So in addition to generating love and compassion, the Bodhisattva engages in the practice of taking and giving.
Dini zada janju sema nam gidu sine chale nang ngore chisa dini ge kanga traho kanga teken dini shuri ge jungyo na dine Tebaina, and Delia, and the Coralaya, Sabo Subinia Jada, Delia, Jamni Jacomia, and Denigi, and Dungata, Deopa, Donlen Chair, Donlen Gomia, and Sosuki, Gawatiki, and Shala Oya, all those Yamin Nangores. She said, now that Dela didn't argue in a culture was in a Georelana, Chisa, Dini in the Sosola, Dinike Kanga taken Chitinemo, Yong Masi, Yungurua, Dine Yon Sibarua, Dine Yombaina, and Dinashing Pakoro Malamba, Sobocom to Bachkure, Sobocom Yata, and Delia. They just combine Namshin, Uncle Yamo, Shawan to contribute, Shawan of Sova, Ninjas, Niju Comiata, and another Donlan come to Yadi, come Hores, and that Anzuli, Dinigi, Yamnango Rege.
The way then that we, as ordinary beings, but yet those who aspire for the paths of a bodhisattva, the way that we should relate to these bodhisattva practices is that we should emulate their example. So illustrations such as these, we do encounter, and we almost certainly will encounter them again. We will encounter people who falsely accuse us of something, who blame us for something we haven't done, who doubt our intentions. So the way we should then apply this advice, the very first step is to guard our mind. To guard our mind, ensure that anger doesn't arise, doesn't take control of us. Rather, like the Bodhisattva, we should be patient. Our mind should say unsubdued. Our mind should say subdued in the face of this adversity. And through being skillful like this, keeping our mind subdued and patient, we have the space then, because we're not overwhelmed by the situation. We have the space to remind ourselves of our meditation, to remind ourselves, this person right now is without freedom. This person right now is under the control of their afflictions. This person right now is suffering and creating the causes for grave suffering in the future. And if we are skilled in patience, we'll have the mental space to remind ourselves of this, and immediately love and compassion will arise. So therefore, the first step is not to get angry. The second is not getting angry through the cultivation of patience. Love and compassion we need to generate. And then the third step, with love and compassion arising for this being, enact that love and compassion and engage in the practice of giving and taking. Whatever virtue we have, all the virtue we've accumulated right now, I give to this being. And the suffering they experience, I will take it on, because I am transforming it. I will take the suffering from them. And all the virtue I'm creating from this is yours. I'm accumulating this virtue in dependence on you. Therefore, I offer it to you. And I offer it to you so that you may attain freedom from pain.
Anas Mishandagi Sosolia, Gangatea, Nidon Dayata, Denigi, Gangatea, Lamsang, the Dicodelia, Jixovacum Yamnjeta, Nijicom to Yadi Kalehaburua, Cesa, the Jangdorku Wore, Cesaniel and the Jangdorku Wore, Cesa Dene, the Kitty in there, Diding Majun Yelena, and the Kitty in there, Dadan on the Chumeba in there, and Kitty Nata, Denigi Jala, Denikuma, then the Chumsovana, that's only Denigi Jiggy. Tadu Chumena, Deniki, Yoba, and Denistelia, look to jump Nijicomcore, this is Chigendiki, and also Yomobi on the control on the Chicore, Geneza, the bear consul Kayomare, Sanche, Nation Yomobe, Shawan Soares, and Konozuki Diwangi, and the Lesa, Kungason Gyalse, Sagore, Ninja, Sambiki, Sam Comiata, and Deniki, and that. Koro dinigi dunga nyongo ya tiki tibu dikis cha ngal minche ngil ngal su me ane koro dunga nyongo ya chi yongora sho sa ta ane ngi kiwa sa shaba diki di tibu diki koro su liya minche koro su diki yongora sho dinigi diki yongora ma se ane samba sambo ki ya tang ane chue che ki nyamlen koko pya ra chen ane chue nyamlen che che tarpa ta temchi kimbo kopo nyurdu toba sho samche nga zuki dinigi yang na yang do nga zuki dinigi jungme na Deniki Yane and some Taji Chandru Chikusra, Deniki Chandru Chebaina, and then Chik Chandru Chebi, Chandru Chen, could do Sin Loy Chandru, Lo Comshi Tene, and Lamsa Chiki Deniki Gang Chef on the Lamsa. Jen to water, Jen to Jen, Seba come to Yada, and Delia Jamni come to Yungore, and Dinis Jumbaina. And so Suki, some Tabi Gabline, Gehore, Jamni Jukum, the Gawa Dile Hava Merwa, and this Shangi Dunga, Su Dandule, and Sosule, Rangi, Geza, Pa, Tonlingoma, Dile, Negawa Chewachio, Chesa Gewachma, Sagore, and the Nigi also Ganga Chidi Gablina, and the Nigi Chumbaina, Lamsa Delia, Subinyam Jetua, the Jamni Jukomiata, Donlin Jetua Yungbaina, Sosu Kondo Makiawa, and Sosu Simple Chayada, and Digit Power Mazi and Delia. Gewa Trip to at Yungura, Chesadi, Zangazu, Nasan, Denigi, Samuna, Lushin, Yane, Gom, Jandur Chikore, Jandur Jevaina, Kodutel, Deniskisi, Denichi, Tubaina, and Dikotutelia, some of the Tatuba Chagore. Nelia, Jandur Mena, and Dikotutela, some of the Tatu, Galakabo Chagorua, Chesam when Jajusemba Honzu, Yel and Yamin Chidu, and Yelen Dushan, Jandur Manguchi, Jandur Manguchi, Lojong, and Jajusim Gulaki, and Jajusim Gulaki, the Niki. And the Jingamlin, the Nikalamsa now to go.
When we hear about practices of bodhisattvas such as these, it's quite amazing to think that there are these remarkable beings in the world that when they have things of value stolen from them, when they are falsely accused of things, that their mind stays calm and spacious, that they don't get disturbed at all. And in fact, love and compassion arises within them for suffering beings. And in fact, the wish to help this person arises within them. No thought of revenge, no thought of, I hope they get their just desert. Rather, the true understanding of causality. The wish arises, may I help you? May I help you attain freedom from this enslavement within cyclic existence. It's quite remarkable that there are such beings in the world. And we too can become just like them, and we can become just like them through training in the correct sequence, through training in the sequence correctly, as it has been presented here. Because what has been presented here is nothing that is beyond a being who has achieved a precious human rebirth, a rebirth marked with the freedoms and opportunities. If we dedicate ourselves, commit ourselves to engage in all these trainings repeatedly over a sustained period, we too can become skilled in all of these practices. And just like a bodhisattva responds spontaneously in situations such as these, with patience, love, compassion, and engage in the practice of taking and giving. The reality is, for us right now, it's very difficult to respond in this way, if possible at all. But that is only because we are not habituated to this way of thinking, but are habituated to the opposing way of thinking. If we train through all these trainings in the correct sequence, we will become habituated. We will understand very clearly our great potential, its impermanence, the reality of the sufferings of samsara, as well as possibility for freedom and the need to put others' needs before our own. And through training well like this, we will be able to become like a bodhisattva, so that when we encounter any kind of adverse circumstance, immediately we will not take it personally, because our self-cherishing mind is not readily arising. We are guarding against that. We see it as the gravest of enemies. Not taking the situation personally, grasping at our possessions or our reputation, we have already mental freedom. And with this mental freedom, we can think about the state that this being before us is in. We have the mental space, the mental freedom to think in this way, realizing they do not. They are under the control of their own selfishness. And this is leading them not only to suffer right now through having strong desire or anger present, or jealousy or pride present, but they're also creating the causes that will potentially lead them to falling into the suffering lower realms. And with this space of mind that has come about in dependence on all our previous training, naturally, we'll want them to be freed of such a situation. We don't naturally want others to experience pain, especially if we've trained well. Not only will we want to take on that suffering that they are experiencing because we know we are skilled in dealing with this, but all this virtue that we are accumulating now through patience arising, love and compassion arising, we will offer it to this being with the hope, may all your temporary needs be achieved in accordance with the Dharma. And even more importantly, may you come under the care of a Mahayana spiritual friend, develop strong interest in the Buddha Dharma, receive teachings, train in them wholeheartedly, striving and achieve liberation from suffering and enlightenment itself. And I give you my root of virtue now, so that you can become freed of suffering and pain and achieve lasting happiness. I give you my virtue. I offer all my material resources in my body too, to achieve happiness. So this way of thinking for us now is contrived because we are not habituated, but only because we're not habituated. Through training as has been set out here, this can become spontaneous within us, just like it is within Bodhisattvas. Now we come to the next practice, which again is transforming adverse circumstances into the paths of bodhisattvas. And here it's taking unpleasant speech, unpleasant things that are said about oneself, and taking these and transforming them into the paths of virtue, the mental paths that lead to enlightenment.
Geshe Dala Minyan no sopa, Donsum Cabar, Dropper Chenayam, Champion Simke, Larian Dini, Yenden Juba, Geshe Lalins.
Should all manner of unpleasant things about me be proclaimed and spread throughout the entire universe, with a loving mind to repeatedly speak of their good qualities, is a practice of bodhisattvas.
Geshe Sosalia and the Nama Chobacha Magavi Genjina, and the Sosugi, Chikima, Mingdang, Senyanda, Ma Babega Dondalia, and me, Genji, and Kazakale, meet in the Jordanians and Kazakale Shea, Capraja Shuro, Geshe Dala, Minyan Nasopa, Donsum Cabar Dropper Jenayang, Sidu, Mikashi, Sosalia, Magavi Genjina, and Sosalia, and the Genji, and Kazakale, Minyan, but that's all. I take to go to said the Genji. Gyunjeji na Gyunjeta Maracheje, Donsum Chabacha Gaze Kalpa Sheche, Dini Chebaina, and the Diniki Jen Cheba Yuna, and Delia, and some Lakartangores at Chesemanam, some Lakartangores at the Shere.
Looking at the first two lines, how would a bodhisattva respond when all manner of unpleasant things are said about them, and not necessarily directly to them, but said to others, and not one or two people, but proclaimed and spread throughout the entire universe? So we can imagine situations when this is done, when lies are maliciously spread about oneself, or even things that one has done are spread everywhere. How would a bodhisattva deal with such circumstance?
Deni Jedi Kabla, and Jeju Sympathy, some Logarnangos and Delian, Tangana, Lamsa, Gale Gyuji, and Gale Shake to set back Corolaya, and Jig Magawache, Yungurua, and the same Makiwacha Yungurua, Jeza Jeju Sympathy, the Yungo Mares, Dinenza, the Sympakaras Gongoshigo Lamna, Jambi Simki, Lorna Dini, Yenden Juba, Geshe Lali, Chisa Jambaki, the Desu Coron Nalia, Magawa, Gyuji, 코롱기 데니기 체체 코롱리아 셈기부 슝고르 다 딩우르와 가지 견제 견제 지시스도 소설을 레레 기우라 용으로 데니 제단 코롱 기부 슝고르와 제단 데 코롱리 대호 거래 인지 다 코롱 데니 체체 코롱 대호주나 디고르 코롱리아 디기 고고 심젠디제 디기 고고르 제단 대화다 되나 셈비게 자마게다 안데지니엘 셰바나시 다 코롱 셈 지게 등아자다 차도다 나라미게 온게 되네 삼바게 징알에 견주지요도 안 코로나리아 스쿨노 되니 개바지 디바사고레 다 견주지요도 견주기 제도 코로나 디바사고레 제단 디 제보디 코로나 마오바나 둥아뇨야 규체거래 아제 닝제다 되네게 셈제 차상하다 되네게 둥아단타나 셈베게 대화다 된고고도 닝제 셈베 잠바다 닝제기야다 안에 델야 인식이 안 델야 안지 견주지에게 찹라 안소소 마가와지 찹라 안데네야 연된주지 어미디 베메시 코론 야고여다 세제 현달야 코론 연된주 안두치바나 안가서도 건데 연된주바나 어미디가 연된주 코론 보내야 코론 거부차 심기워 연구로 제대 기워야 되기요 돈달라 안데 연된주고 그래서 제가 연된주 코로사에게 찹라 델야 서버콤 잠바치 인지기 아니 연된주고 그래서 제가 연된주고 봐도 김제대 가라라 코에 되는 제베데 야고래서야지 그래서 코에 되는 제가 견주가 나야 차스 나야 차고 그래서 진짜 되니가 알아 견주가 아주 내가 오셔서 쉬우 인생사 용스 나야 끼치고 진짜 코에 나라 견주치도 두치는 나야 차고 그래서 진짜 나야서야지 라신이가 코리기 코와기에게 규례마도 눈아게 규례마도 나게 고해요 말 진짜 코에 되느야 나리야 되니 견주지 나야 차와도 빼면서 야보래다 나리야 강아때에게 코와지기 친지기 나게 그 매바수고 진짜 날 팽기도 와 빼면서 야보 판도 제버렸다 삼지 될이야 두섬다제 될이야 연대주 안 주고 가서 도시에 잠니제고 안에 연대주 도시에 전시바 남기 소소리야 견제지게 민년바 나서 가제 갈래 신이 되는 용배이나야 될이야 콘로 말라와 파 견제지에게 잡라 안에 전시세만 비잠니제고 될 코로나 연대주 도시 전시세게 세라는 되는 거래 제래
We know from our own experience how we respond in circumstances where people speak unpleasantly about us. Bodhisattva, though, is a being that's completely transformed their way of thinking. So bearing in mind the trainings we've heard before, we'll understand all the realizations a Bodhisattva has. And therefore, when they've spoken unpleasantly about before the entire universe, they respond, as we see in this verse, in lines 3 and 4, with a loving mind, and they repeatedly speak of this person's good qualities. So this is not how ordinary beings respond, but it is how Bodhisattva responds. For ordinary beings, immediately pride would arise. And under the pride which comes from the self-cherishing mind, the pride then also leads to anger arising, trying to push away that which harms this mind, the self-cherishing mind. Bodhisattva, completely different. And a Bodhisattva is completely different because of all the meditations they have successfully accomplished. They understand the true enemy is in particular the self-cherishing mind. But it's all these afflictions, not speech, not activity, it's the afflictions. That is the true enemy for all beings. So therefore, if people say bad things about them or not, doesn't matter. This is fluff in the world. It's nothing of value. This they understand very clearly. The dangers in the world are the afflictions. The priorities in the world are overcoming them. This is manifestly clear to a Bodhisattva. So therefore, they don't get drawn into things that are said and done. Even when a host of unpleasant things are said about oneself to others. Not seeing these as important, their mind stays undisturbed. And with this mental space and clarity, they can think about this being before them, this being who is talking about them in this way, understanding clearly why they are doing so. And that is because this being is overwhelmed by their afflictions, the self-cherishing mind, their pride, whatever it may be, but they are overwhelmed by their afflictions. And in this way, compassion for the suffering being arises within them, like we heard before. Moreover, because of all the bodhisattva, the training the bodhisattva has been through, not only does love and compassion arise within them, but they realize that this being is far more than just what is being presented here. This being has a vast store of qualities too. And therefore, they talk about the good qualities of this being, recognizing that this being isn't defined by this behavior here. This being also has many good qualities, and therefore, these being good qualities, they are worthy of praise. And rather, responding to things of no importance, the bodhisattva uses this opportunity to praise this person. Because this person who's speaking badly about the bodhisattva right now has, perhaps in this life, certainly in previous lives, has directly as well as indirectly shown great kindness to the bodhisattva. And moreover, in this very instance of talking badly about, saying unpleasant things about the bodhisattva, this person is inadvertently presenting the bodhisattva with the opportunity to transform this adverse circumstance into the paths of the Mahayana, giving them the opportunity to recognize that this is a moment when their pride may arise. And their pride comes from their self-cherishing mind, which is the cause of all suffering. And this, through the mindfulness and introspection, they will not allow to arise, but will eradicate. And therefore, this being before them now is actually once again showing them a great kindness, because they are giving the bodhisattva an opportunity not to come under the influence of their afflictions, and rather to generate patience, love, and compassion. So for these reasons, the bodhisattva does not respond in the way that ordinary beings do, but rather responds by speaking of this person's good quality, and doing so under the influence of love, compassion.
Da dindigi minyen ba chuye che dindi cheba ne chen simbe du che na ne jam yin ju kom ya da digi han la ya gyön je che sable ya yön den ju du nan go re che ro nyam nan go re che ro ane shen gi jik gyön je mong bo kidi na cheba na ane kanis cheba ne del ya chen simbe yön den yang ya chuye de gi be la na dia du bi nge ba yo ma re ka re se ne shen gi gyön je che 소수기 내가 돈다 기전에 판바 개침부 주여지 내가 개침부 주여바지 내가 판바 침부 주토에 미망게 시주의 판도 개침부 주토에 지 내가 차례나 지리야 시행기 균주의 제제 내가 의 가제 현리야 지 판도 주모토베게 되는 게 내가 여바당 안데 이거 시행기 되게 소수의 균주 집에 온게 지소하다 되네 몽볼이야 뇌긴 침부 강아 몽보 요야 안디 마세 코롱 균지 집에 끼인데 코롱을 야베 마세 둥아 빠드메 바녀아 강아 시우 요야게 되니게 시우 직 잡침 보지 제구여 바이네 안에 전주심바 남기 델이야 균지 델이야 파 안에 레 세시 안지 코롱을야 잠니제 쇠바 코로마라죠 쇠바곰 안에 잠바다 니제게 안디긴게 안에 델이야 안에 코롱 균지 제바텔레 레 세시자로 세시 템바라지 제제 안 균디 메바 쇠야다 온두스 난그레 지오라 난그로다 다디나데 시크모스나데 디난그레스 요마르데다 디네 난그로와
With training like this, Bodhisattva will have the confidence that whatever is said to or about them, they can deal with it. It will not overcome them. But it doesn't mean that in all circumstances they will remain silent or they will not respond. This bodhisattva being skilled, with patience readily arising, followed by love and compassion, their wisdom easily arises. And they will therefore always respond in the most skillful of ways. And this may involve staying silent. It may involve, as we see here, as the verse explicitly states, repeatedly speaking of the other person's good qualities. And it may involve, their wisdom may guide them to respond directly to what has been said about them. And the times that a bodhisattva would respond directly is when through what this person is saying, these unpleasant things that are being said or proclaimed about them throughout the entire universe, should they harm the bodhisattva's ability to be of benefit to others, may these things that are being said impede the beneficial activities of the bodhisattva, then a great loss will come from this. So therefore, with a mind pervaded by love and compassion, the bodhisattva would respond with kindness and with honesty, clarifying the situation, explaining perhaps what really happened, what the situation is, and in this way, removing any doubt or lack of clarity. So, having a mind not dominated by the afflictions, the bodhisattva can respond with wisdom and with skill, and thereby resolve the situation and do so in a way where all beings' minds become calm and subdued too.
Andi mase, andi teniki dunga digi maungpane, dunga nyoya ki dunga tibo digi dala minche, an konzo nyomo ya ta, dagi kiwi sawa, gande chine dewa nyoya di, konzo li minche digi yungwa sho, samche, teniki yanzo yane yangdo, dushine samta jangdo rachi, andi gomya di, zuki diringi, jinche digi yanzo jiga lalenda ya di dire, tanga zuki dusu chine, 어데 니네니들이야 디네 삼다까지 제투도지 장도를 제발나 내가서 검시대제나 삼노디 누가 철철도 두고 디네 인자 누가 철도나 내가 지리 마오바나 디네 교바나 아주 다다들 디갑을 제투야 책으로 안디만 근데 마세가서 두 삼다베나 당아서 Zemlinalaya, Kumagi di Chikubare Sada, Digi Mitini, Subare Sada, Diniki Jala Chochum Jevare Sada, Dinik Dondameba, and Jidiniko Lubare Sada, Dinikan to Goya Toya, and Singur that in the Mangutunkurva, Dinikabline, as a Ninja, that Diniki Chochum Jig Mitiki, Kono Chata, and the Jig Misu, Sewa Tinja, Kondo Omiti Ninja, Sambigi, Tesla Ninjacom, and then Ninjacom, that Desugi Unit and the Koros of Kondo. Leang ba tebo patum ba sa nyong ya sa go dunga nyong bo ni chi ta denigi mo ba ne denigi dunga di tebo di cha sa nga le mi ji konzo nyong mo wa ni ge yue ze we ji konzo le mi di gi di konzo le jong lu de wa sem ji bo yang ya ji da ane sem di gi yan sem pen chu ya an ji jiang ba dan ze we sem ge an chue dun ye ge sam ba ge an chue nyam le ji ne zi ji ge jiang ji nyam le ji ta chi ne san ju ko ba to ba shu sa ji du chi ne an ji ge sam da ji some the community and some died the rather comes some of the other died the show and dinner and did it. She's not doing that. Look, shitty diggy, that some died in the city. I also saw you and then my singing was Lam Kier said in my was in Mutishi.
This class now being impermanent, our time is up. So let's summarize what we've looked at today. So we started this morning by looking at the two primary practices for the generation of bodhicitta. We looked at the 6 causes and 1 effect method, and thereafter the equalizing and exchanging self with others. And we saw how to practice these two, and how that these come about in dependence on a number of prior trainings. And in order to be able to generate bodhicitta, the causes for that have to be accumulated, namely those prior trainings. And this afternoon we saw then how Bodhisattva continues to practice, how with a great skill that they have developed, having meditated in the way that has been presented in the preceding practices, they are able to deal with life's difficulties in a way that's quite extraordinary, in a way that is not like we have experienced ourselves. And that through the skill they've developed, no matter what they encounter, their mind stays calm and subdued. Afflictions do not arise, and even if they do, they're easily eliminated. And therefore, they are able to, love and compassion readily arises, as well as wisdom. In this way, they can respond skillfully, helping others. And this comes about, dependent on these prior trainings. They've understood the real danger in this world. For each and every being is the afflicted minds. That is what causes harm, and that is what should be feared and abandoned. Only that, not suffering beings. Understanding this, when they are in the presence of situations that that ordinary people like ourselves would consider dangerous and unwanted, they don't see it as such, because they realize that danger comes from the afflictions. What is unwanted is the afflictions. And that this being before them is suffering now, and they're suffering because of the arisal of the afflictions. So this recognition has come about in dependence on all these preceding trainings. And now, with their mind being calm and still, love and compassion arises for this being. And they generate this strong wish. The suffering that you're experiencing now, may you be freed of this. May you no longer come under the influence of the afflictions. These causes that you are creating now, this negative karma that will ripen in further suffering, may it not ripen on you. May it rather ripen on me. I have the skill to deal with it. I can deal with these difficult situations and transform them. I will take the suffering on that you're accumulating. Let it ripen on my continuum. And the virtue that I'm accumulating through this, the virtue have accumulated to bring me to this point, and the virtue that I will still accumulate, may it all ripen on your continuum. And thereby, through this virtue, may you achieve all the temporary happiness that you need in accordance with the Dharma, and in particular, to achieve lasting, stable happiness. May you come under the care of a qualified Mahayana spiritual teacher, receive trainings from him, and make great efforts to develop those trainings in your continuum, achieving liberation and enlightenment as quickly as possible. So this is how Bodhisattva responds. And they can respond in this way because they've trained skillfully, repeatedly, with great effort over a sustained period through these various practices. Now we ourselves, as aspirants to the Bodhisattva paths, it's not for us to ignore these trainings and say, oh, I'll start with number one and the rest I'll forget about until I've mastered number one. We can engage in all of them together. When we're speaking to our friends and we're hearing about the difficulties in their lives, when you're watching the news and we're seeing the difficulties in our nation and around the world, remind ourselves, all the suffering comes about dependence on causes and conditions. The root of all of them is a self-cherishing mind, and all its resulting afflictions and the karma that comes from this. So this is the understanding that has come through these various practices. And remind ourselves that we as a being have achieved a precious human rebirth. We can transcend suffering and guide others to do so too. And right now, whilst I'm talking with my friend or I'm watching the news, I will do what I can. I recognize that these individual situations that are being described to me have come about due to the afflictions. I commit to not coming under the afflictions. I will take on the suffering of others in the sense of, whenever an affliction arises, I will guard myself against coming under its influence and eliminating it. And through me doing this, I take on the suffering of others and destroy it. Whatever skill I attain in this practice, because I'm doing it for the sake of others, I offer it as a gift to them. And in this way, through all this virtue, may all beings meet the Dharma, train skillfully, and achieve full enlightenment. So this is a simple way that I encourage you to use these trainings, use all of these trainings, and transform your lives. So we'll end here for now, and then tomorrow we'll continue with these further practices of Bodhisattvas, where they transform adverse circumstances into the paths that lead to enlightenment. Thank you.